start with a solid foundation. This is Rick's House, the home improvement show. Waking up between you and Mama every Saturday morning. Lord, it must be a big old bed. You're listening to Rick's House.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, and let me tell you about one of my favorite companies, Top Septic. If you need a new drain field, or maybe you're having a problem with your existing drain field, or maybe the septic tank just needs to be pumped, they are the folks that can handle it for you. They know what they're doing. They're an American-owned company run by a veteran who wants to give you the type of service that you're expecting. Top Septic. Call them today, 865-599-1690. 865-599-1690.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. Let me tell you about my friends at Knox Rail Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Piper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxRailSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite.
Permachink Systems, protecting wood for a long, long time. Not only protecting it, but beautifying it, helping it when it's decayed, working with log home people, and also working with homeowners. They have a store on Prosser Road in Knoxville at 1605 Prosser Road at 800-548-3554, or a store in Sevierville, 1357 Dolly Parton Parkway, 865-774-3307. 865-774-3307. Let me tell you what you're going to learn when you get there. Things I didn't know about. How about the Woodsman line of smooth log caulk? The other day I was looking for something that matched wood trim. I only had two choices. Not with Permachink: pine, honey, tan, cedar tone, brown, and gray. E-wood, epoxy wood putty that really works. Putty that will harden and become just like the wood itself, maybe even better. If you're missing sections of your window sills or frames or furniture or any wood structure, this is the product for you. But maybe it's something smaller. How about epoxy wood paste? Contact PCS today. Call Permachink Systems today. Toll free 800-548-3554 or at the Sevierville store, 865-774-3307, and find out how to make wood better. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show. Let me tell you about our newest sponsor, GFL. That's Green for Life. If you're looking for that dumpster or that roll-off or that piece of equipment that's going to get that debris away from your job site, or just keep things handy around and clean around that big business that you have, GFL wants to be your partner. They want to service you, and they want to take care of you. Locations in Knoxville and Morristown, and you can call them today at 865-475-7777, 865-475-7777. Dean Kings joins me today to tell us about a special offer for Rick's House listeners. Dean.
Yeah, Rick, if they mention that they've heard about us on your show or any kind of thing affiliated with your show, we're going to waive our delivery fee for any roll-off box.
And how much is that,
brother?
That's
a $75 savings.
$75 savings right off the bat. So if you're looking for that dumpster or that open-top roll-off, GFL is the company that's got them for you. They want to take care of you, they want to service you, and they do a great job for us. GFL, call them today, 865-475-7777, and mention that you heard them on Rick's House.
Oh, well, it's Rick's House. If you got a question, he'll help you figure it out. 'Cause it's Rick's House.
Saturday morning to you. How you humming now? All running on all cylinders this morning. Hope you can hear me just good and fine. Let's see what it looks like on the book face. Yeah, that's about right on the book face. Mm-hmm. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Proud to be in here with you this morning. Looking forward to, we got a good one for you today, y'all. I ain't kidding you. We got a good one for you today. That ain't no lie. I've been working on it. We went back through and redid all of our stuff. Thank you to Melon, who I've been fussing about for the last little bit. But their team, it takes them a couple days. But now they reached out to me, told me how to fix it, told me what they thought the problem was. And thank you, Lord, I did that. And yes, it seems to have fixed said problem. So that's awesome. So we are so excited about that and just really, really excited to have that working the way it's supposed to. So all is good. Epidemic Sound, all music on the Rick's House Radio Show program. Either we got permission to do it or it comes from Epidemic Sound. I don't want to hear nothing else about it. Tube you. I don't know about y'all, but in West Texas, it's a little brisk this morning. We had quite the week. We had to do some traveling unexpectedly. So if you've been trying to get me, I was out of pocket, so to speak. But we're back in the game now. And our weather, was so funny because I was watching Channel 10 this morning back home in Knoxville, Tennessee, and just catching up on, what was going on at home. And so many of our sponsors are, as well as, our sponsors are other places too. When we talk about GFL, they're in like 38 states. We talk about, I had a great conversation with my buddy Evan yesterday from Permachink, and they're getting ready to do some really cool stuff on Fox News. And we'll be telling you more about that. And, they're in several places, several states, and of course, Knoxville Salvage is just an institution there. And will not only that, but they will ship, so, we're just blessed to have the folks that's Knoxville Salvage been with me 20 years, y'all, 20 years. And Permachink, and glad Permachink was with me for a number of years and then had some changes, and I was in different places, and that was before I was podcasting and doing the things I'm doing now, and reaching out all over the place, and technology made it a whole lot easier. And so they're back in the fold, and just tickled to death to have them, and just good folks over there. So I have been doing my due diligence. Where I was this week, I had a lot of time to work without being disturbed from the normalcies because I didn't have good phone service, which I never thought would be a blessing. But it was a blessing. Now I've been up since 5. This is cup number 3 of the Java, and it is good. Seattle's best this morning. Do you got a favorite coffee? I mean, you got one everybody, coffee's like cigarettes or anything else. You got to have your favorite. Everybody surely's got their favorite. Have you got a favorite? I do. And now we've got to where we've been mixing them together. Mix a little here, mix a little there, do a little here, do a little there kind of deal. Which has worked out pretty good. Kind of getting our own blend. One of my favorite blends is Steampunk Johnny. Does a great job with it. Absolutely, positively. Many of y'all know got hacked last week again. Done a pretty good job with not being an issue, but I did, and I got a bunch of crazy stuff, and it sent a bunch of crazy messages and all that bunch of baloney. So if you got one of those, it was not me. So just ignore it and go on. I think that we have done all the appropriate protocols to stop it. It's just one of them things. That it perplexes me. If a person who has the ability to hack in and to do all that stuff, I guess there's some kind of challenge with it or something. I honestly don't know. I don't know. But if you're that talented that you could do that, my goodness, you ought to be able to get a job putting that to work. Look at Aaron Yarnell from the police department. He's a, computer guru. So, there's got to be a way to do that and make good money, I would imagine, and still be, get engaged in something that's positive instead of just, hacking people that you ain't got nothing better to do. Cause what you gonna get from me? I ain't got nothing. Well, I got is worth a lot to me, but not much to you. So I just don't get it. So that's part of it. There is a tip that I've been meaning to share with y'all since, Lord have mercy, a tip that I've been meaning to share with you every week. And this is something that was taught to me and just so happened. And, when I get a tip or I find a tip or, I remember something my grandfather told me or, whatever that is, when I do that, I give credit where credit's due. I ain't the sharpest cookie in the shed, but I'm a good and observant listener. And I was lucky when I was young that I listened, not because I was smart, because I was afraid not to. I grew up with some men that was short on talking and heavy on action. Now, they do anything in the world for you, but you're just going to listen now. Come on. Respect was part of it. I promise you. But that was good. And I'm glad I did. And I don't mean that derogatorily. So when I run across these things, I try to always let you know where I find them because I'm constantly searching. I'm constantly watching. I'm constantly, trying to learn and re-engage because this is year 26 for us. And sometimes I feel like I repeat myself about things because I've talked about them a lot. But, I got to remember that there's somebody out there today that might be in, Washington State or California or down in Texas. We're getting a good following down here, thank goodness. And of course, all of our folks back home that we appreciate so much in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Sevierville and Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. I got a call yesterday from a company that we know about, and we're going to do some talking with them. So we're interested in that, and we know their work, so that'll be good. But one of the tips that I learned, and it popped up, and I don't remember if it was on the Family Handyman or, the Family Handyman is one of my go-tos. I just like that magazine. Now, I was looking at it last night, and I got some great stuff from it today that I'm going to share with you. So, I mean, they send me email after email after email, and they have no idea who I am, not that I'm anybody or what I do or how I do it. But they're just sending it just like they would anybody else. And so I let them build up, and then I'll go back and go through them, and I'll start with the oldest ones and work forward. But they have some good tips that come from listeners. And from people that read their magazine and they'll contribute. And that's some of the best advice that you can get. Sometimes if it's published, sometimes I look at things and I go, well, I could see where that could work, but that's for me, that's not the best way. I wouldn't approach it that way. That doesn't mean it's the only way. And here's the thing about home improvement. Don't let do it yourself become do it to yourself. Part of that is doing what you're comfortable with and how you're comfortable in doing it and doing it in that way. You see, that's important. So here's the tip
that I've been meaning to share forever and a day that I forgot to reshare with you. I've shared it years ago, but I forgot to reshare it with you, so I'm going to reshare it with you now. Theft is an issue a lot of times. Now, we've been fortunate. Honestly, as far as I know, and I got so much stuff that be honest with you, until I went to look for it, I may or may not know. Good morning. But the only thing that I'm aware of since we've been on the road, and we were on the road 3.5 years, then we went home to take care of aging parents and grandparents and all those things that you do that you're supposed to do and you should do. And then we went back on the road, and we've been we left in November of this past year and made our way down through Tennessee and down through Georgia and Alabama and actually Tennessee, Alabama, and then on down through into Texas, through some other places that we wanted to stop just for a little bit. And so now we're in West Texas, out in the middle of the desert, and we are getting ready to go into the dry season and all that kind of stuff. So there'll be a lot for us to talk about. However, as far as I know, in all of our travels, I've lost one thing that was deliberately stolen from me. And of all things, I bet you can't guess what it is. It was a sewer pipe, a 10-foot section of black tank sewer pipe drain. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Now, fortunately, we're going to talk about being prepared today. That's something my wife says. She said, you'd make a Boy Scouts proud. And I was a Boy Scout, but I'm going to have a backup from a backup. That's my philosophy about being on the road. I'm going to have a backup for my backup. So, you know, when I buy something, if I can, and I can't always, because, you know, I'm like everybody else, I'm getting a little older and you know, I got to be conservative with my money, our money. But if I need 20 feet of sewer hose, I'm going to buy 20 and then another 10 just in case. If I'm going to, when I did the plumbing on our washer and dryer, if I needed 2 couplings, I'm going to buy 4. If I need, you know, it's just the nature of the beast. Now, if it's an expensive item, I'm not going to do that and have it just sitting around. But when we're talking about minor things, if I need a pound of nails, I'm going to get a pound and a half or 2. It's just the way that I do that. Now, I've got that stuff organized and put away. And if when I need it, I can go back to it. There is some sense if you get too much stuff, you know, you got to be careful about what you haul along. But normally I have enough of most things in order to allow me to, you know, if something busts or tears up or breaks, usually I can fix it, because you're not always in a place like where we're at right now. We are an hour and about 10 minutes from a Walmart. We have a local RV guy that does repair and stuff like that. And he helped us with our awning and does a great job, but he may or may not have it in stock. And then we have a True Value and a McCoy's, and they may or may not have, they've got a few items. So if you lose something important, you could be down a couple of days till you can get Amazon to get it here, or you want to drive and, you know, to go get it. So I try to keep stock on that. But the only thing I've lost, as far as I know, in that period of time was a doggone sewer pipe. And I can't believe that. One of the most common things that are stolen in campgrounds, and honestly, we're really particular about the campgrounds we stay at, if we can be, and if we can, you know, if we're fortunate enough to be able to look ahead enough to make sure that we're staying in a quality place, which we always try to do. And a lot of times out west, once you cross, you know, that Mississippi River and get out west, there's BLM land, and that's Bureau of Land Management land everywhere where you can camp for free if you're, you know, set up to be self-sufficient. But extension cords. Now, this is a good trick that I learned from contractors, and then the family handyman has picked up on it. First thing, brand new extension cord, first thing you do, roll that sucker out and in a couple of places on there, take you some black electrical tape and tape you up a piece about 3 or 4 inches long. Tape it good. Then go another, maybe out toward the end and, about 2 foot away from the plug in where it's very visible, and take you some electric tape and tape it up again. You say, Rick, what in the world for? Well, if you're a thief, are you going to steal the extension cord that don't have any tape on it? Or are you going to steal the one that's taped up that looks like it's been repaired? And I just think that's a great tip. I do. I just think that's smart. The guys that come up with that and gals that come up with that, whoever come up with that, that's using your head. Tape that extension cord. You'll get to keep it longer. This past week, we were in a place where we had to stay in a commercial building, and this commercial building had rooms in it, hotel, so to speak. And what I learned something that I had no idea about. Now, as we go into the summertime, when you're dealing with humidity back home in East Tennessee and Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, or, in the South, our friends in Alabama and our friends in Georgia and down Louisiana and so forth, and even in part of Texas, the eastern and southeastern part of the world, and you're dealing with that humidity, that's a whole different beast than dealing in the dry climate where we are right now, where it's a whole different beast. A swamp cooler works here. And if you don't know what a swamp cooler is, we'll talk about those one day. But it uses misted water, basically overcools, cool the air, in dry climates works great. Doesn't work worth 2 hoots in humidity. It just does not work. You got to use an air conditioner. What I never knew this, and it's because I'm not an HVAC guy. I should have asked Tony Johnson about it because he's an HVAC guy. But I didn't realize that in hospitals, commercial buildings, those kinds of places where people are coming in and out of rooms. Now, hotels typically, some may not, they use what's called an occupancy thermostat. I'd never seen one of these before. Had no idea it existed. Makes absolute and total sense to me, and I understand that. But there's a problem with it. And it's a problem that I experienced in a house, the last home that I built, and it has to deal with zone control. Now, we're going to take a quick time out to hear from some of those folks that bring you the Rick's House program quickly. And we're not going to run through the whole list. I'm going to do more breaks. I don't use the word break, more timeouts, which we're going to take more short timeouts and just do a couple commercials so we can get back into the meat of it instead of running them all long. Unless I have to get rid of some of this coffee or get some new coffee. So we're going to take a short timeout. When we come back, we are going to share some information with you that I think you're really going to find interesting. I found it to be interesting. I think you will too. It's Rick's House. Don't go anywhere. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, get online. Let's talk about it this morning. We'll be right back, y'all.
House Home Improvement Radio Show. Let me tell you about our newest sponsor, GFL. That's Green for Life. If you're looking for that dumpster or that roll-off or that piece of equipment that's going to get that debris away from your job site, or just keep things handy around and clean around that big business that you have, GFL wants to be your partner. They want to service you, and they want to take care of you. Locations in Knoxville and Morristown, and you can call them today at 865-475-7777, 865-475-7777. Dean Kings joins me today to tell us about a special offer for Rick's House listeners. Dean.
Yeah, Rick, if they mentioned that they've heard about us on your show or any kind of thing affiliated with your show, we're going to waive our delivery fee for any roll-off box.
And how much is that,
That's
brother?
a $75 savings.
$75 savings right off the bat. So if you're looking for that dumpster or that open top roll-off, GFL is the company that's got them for you. They want to take care of you. They want to service you, and they do a great job for us. GFL, call them today, 865-475-7777, and mention that you heard them on Rick's House.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. Let me tell you about my friends at Knox Trail Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Piper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxtrailSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite.
Waking up between you and Mama every Saturday morning. Lord, it must be a big old bed. You're listening to Rick's House.
Good Saturday morning to you. Welcome into Rick's House. Thanks for joining us on the program. How you mom and them? Tape that extension cord up, I promise you. You'll be glad you did. Oh, if I don't get the blood pumping this morning, I don't know what will. Guess who's making chicken enchiladas today? Oh, look out now. In the land of West Texas, that's what we... So back to the conversation at hand. Robin Brunetti, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Robin Brunetti, dear friend of this program. Her husband was one of my best friends in this whole world. And we unfortunately lost him to heaven. Gosh, I can't even remember how long ago. Paul Seymour, good to see you this morning. But Robin, if you're listening, and this is, I needed a new Rick's House theme because of some things that the radio station had required for me, and I spit it out, getting a little emotional, requiring for me to do. And so I called my buddy Brew. I said, brother, I need something. He said, let me put a little something together for you. And I will send it over to you. So, Miss Robin, this is what he come up with. The absolute best drummer in the business. Just, my goodness, I just look forward to getting to play that every Saturday, and it reminds me of my brother, and God bless you and your family for loving me and my family. And so good to see you this morning. Hope you're doing well. Paul Seymour, good to see you, brother. We're doing well this morning. It is a beautiful, sunshiny day in West Texas. Windy this morning. It's supposed to be cold this weekend. Our weather's crazy, like y'all are too. It's just nuts. One minute it's crazy. The next minute it's hot. Next minute it's cold. So you don't know what it's doing. Carolyn, good morning. Good to see you, Miss Carolyn. Thank y'all so much. The YouTube thing was running me crazy, y'all. And so I sent every way possible I could to our Mellon folks, and they responded. And thank you, Lord goodness, that we got that done. And so we're so excited about that. Now, before the timeout, we were talking about something that I didn't know anything about. I was learning. It was just something that I don't know why I never thought about it, but it was something that makes total sense to me. So if you have a large building, Miss Robin, it is my absolute pleasure to share that. And I have many of those things that it would do my heart good to send to you so that you have them too. And we'll talk about that. I'm so glad. I hope I didn't overstep my bounds, but I love that boy. And I know, and I want to say something about Robin here this morning. When Amy and I look at those around us that have entered our lives, what a true love story between Brew and Robin. Absolute fantastic. Ought to make a movie about it. Love story. I mean, just unbelievable. Mr. Jerry Cunningham, good morning, sir. Good to see you out this morning. Thank you. Hope you're doing well, feeling well. So I didn't know anything about this occupancy thermostat. And so what it does is, I didn't even know they made such a thing. So let's say you own a hospital or you own a commercial building, and, it's multiple rooms and you rent out offices. Well, you got a vacant office. Well, instead of having to keep that office cool or heated, they have a thermostat in there that basically you can turn off just that room. Now, you could utilize this in a house too. We utilized this in a home that we built not long ago, excuse me, with a zone control. So what happens is this is my very basic understanding of it, because heat and air is not my thing. But what happens is when you engage this thermostat, it shuts a damper, a valve, for lack of a better term. It shuts a damper that closes air off to that one room. And so that particular room, Brother Bob, good to see you, my brother. Thank you so much. I got your email or message and I lost it. And I was trying like heck to do that. Brian said he's trying to get a hold of you and to give you his information. So please shoot me an email at rickshouseradio@gmail.com so I don't lose that information. Brother Bob in New Jersey, good to see you. Miss Robin in Tallahassee, Florida. And of course, our friends, Paul back in Union County, Tennessee. And so lots of folks visiting us this morning. So what it does is it closes the valve and it shuts the room off. Now, where the problem lies is if that malfunctions and that stays closed, then you can't get heat and air in that. So in the building that Amy and I were in, we had no air. And so they sent a maintenance guy. And this young guy, I bet this young man was probably 20, 21, maybe 22. And he stayed after that. He had his thermometer, his infrared thermometer where he could shoot it up on the thing. And he started to change the thermostat out. That didn't fix it. Next thing I know, he's in the room popping up the drop ceiling and going up in a ladder. And I mean, it was great for me to see a young person that stuck to it. And he stuck to it till he got it fixed. And the problem is that it had malfunctioned, and the damper, which is just a valve that closes or opens in that airway, was stuck. And he unstuck it and it fixed it. And I was like, man, thank you so much for doing that. So it encouraged me. And folks out there, mamas and daddies, if you've got a kid, girl, boy, none of that makes difference, that loves to use their hands and has an interest toward the vocations, man, encourage them to do that. Encourage them to get into those vocations, because I'm telling you, they can make great money. They can do it anywhere. Once they become a journeyman or certified in their trade, they'll never have to worry about a job again, because you're going to have to have it from now on. And like I said, I bet this young man's making probably $25, $30 an hour, and he ought to be. And he's a young man. So, and he was so proud, because I told him, he said, well, I think it might be. And I said, well, if and I didn't think of this. I mean, he thought of this on his own. I didn't have anything to do with it. And he was so proud when he come back down with that dust and insulation off of him. And I bragged on him. I said, let me tell you something. I said, that never crossed my mind. And I've been in this business 40 years. He said, well, I just had to keep digging till I found it. And I'm like, that is awesome. That's absolutely awesome. So occupancy thermostat. I mean, I could see that if you had zone control in the house. A lot of times we just shut the vents and, do that. But if you're in a building setting, a commercial setting, you got that going on. That's a good thing. So that can be important. Jerry said, I used to be a manager of the heat and air business, and you're right. It's just zone control. But if a system is sized properly, ask, what does it mean to cut off airflow on the system? Okay. Question. What does it mean to cut off airflow on the system? Interesting. Like I said, basically they did it so they could isolate rooms. The room next door, the office next door, it's got air. They're not feeding air directly into the office that nobody's in. I don't know the ins and outs of the HVAC thing, but I honestly, I just have to be honest. I was not aware of such a thing. So I thought it was pretty interesting. I learned, while we're talking about HVAC, one of the things I've been kicking around as we travel, I've told you guys this a long time ago. The travel trailer that we have is 40 feet long. It has 3 slides. Our living room where I'm at right now, you can kind of get a partial view of it. Is when the slides are out, it's 12 by 16, which is a pretty good size room for an HVAC. Jerry says, in a home, there's all ducts in one system, typically 10 to 15 runs off pipe off one main trunk line. If you turn off circulation in 1 or 2 rooms, probably okay. But if you increase pressure on the compressor, that's a good point. He did say that there's an actuator that he was afraid it had went bad. And I don't know if the actuator, now see, I'm talking above my head, Jerry, sir. I don't know if it adjusts that airflow, and because you always got to deal with negative and positive pressure. We're gonna get our HVAC guy in here one day to tell us about those things. As a matter of fact, he called me yesterday, and I'm waiting to hear back from him because I'm going to ask him. Thank you for that information, Jerry Senior. Cunning, and by the way, if you need replacement windows in and around East Tennessee, and you've not reached out to Cunningham Window, Mr. Jerry Senior has forgotten more about windows than I will ever know. He is a dear friend, and he and his team. You want to hear more noise? You probably hear puffing. Okay, got you. He's forgotten more about windows than we know. Jerry Jr. and his nephew Chad and the team over there, they do it right. We endorse them. Cunningham Windows. Jerry, send me that number so I can put it out here on the air for you, because I believe I remember it. I believe it's 865-522-0800, but I wouldn't swear to that because that's just coming from my memory from many years of calling that number. So send that to me, sir. Now, I've been talking a lot. I ran into a guy this past week. We were up in Odessa. And that's where they film, Odessa and Midland is where they film Landman. It's the setting for Landman. They filmed a lot of it in other places like Fort Worth and so forth, but that's the setting. And it truly is where you see the oil industry of the United States. It is something. That being said, excuse me. I was talking to a guy about his park, because we're always when I'm visiting somewhere, I'm looking at the RV parks and how people live and what it is. I mean, it's dust, and we're oil workers and it's just the whole thing. But then when you get into the city of Odessa, Tony Johnson, where you been? We've been waiting on you. We've been waiting on you this morning. Tony Johnson, we were talking about, and I'm not set up for phone calls today. I don't think. I might be able to go to the break and fix that. But Tony Johnson, we were before I jump into mini splits, we were talking about, we were in a commercial building this week where we had an occupancy thermostat. So that you could turn off a particular room, and the room next door could have that. And I assumed it was like a zone control. And then what happened was they had an issue. He thought it was the thermostat, but the damper in the pipe itself was stuck closed. And so we had no air. And so I had to go up and do that. And then he was talking about an actuator. I don't know what that means. Tony Johnson, HVAC man deluxe, he knows what that means. So if you can give us some insight on that, we're going to get Tony on the program soon. Sitting at the car show at Gibbs High School this morning in the Volkswagen bus. Awesome. Good to see you this morning. Yeah, we got to get Tony on here to talk HVAC with us. That's got to happen. We need that happening. So now the other thing that I was thinking about, I was talking to a guy that owns a park up there. And when you get out of that, it's old people. So, the parks are jammed up with people right on top of each other. Now, this was a really nice park. He had an indoor swimming pool that was covered. Because of the heat here, they covered the sites, but they're one on top of another, and they're all nice trailers because these guys are working and they're making really good money, and gals, a lot of gals work in that industry too. They're making good money. But he was talking about putting mini splits into the units, into your travel trailers, RVs, all that kind of stuff. And that's something that I've been looking at because my trailer was built with a 30 amp service and one 15,000 BTU air conditioner, which don't get it. So we added additional circuits separate from the main fuse box so that we could run additional air conditioner so that we can be comfortable. But that's not as efficient as a mini split. And so we were looking into, he was telling me, he said, you know, one of the things that we've been doing, he said, on our units up here is we've been adding mini splits. And I'm like, well, what does that cost? You know, and a mini split is when we get Tony on here, he'll talk more about that and explain it to us. But when you do that mini split thing, you know, the cost of those have been pretty expensive. And that's the one thing that's negated us from doing that. He said, they got those things down. And I said, well, what does it cost to buy one? He said, we found a guy that buys them for us. And he said, they're off brand. He said, but we've bought 5 of them. And he said, we've had them for 2 years. And he said, we hadn't had a bit of trouble. And he said, we can get parts. He said, they're $450. I said, $450, that's an air conditioning cost. I mean, that's a wall unit for a big one. He said, that's what I'm telling you. And he said, I said, what about the installation? He said, well, we got a guy that puts them in. He said, but honestly, he said, there's not that much to it. Tony says it's very doable to install. Tony Johnson, HVAC Man Deluxe, great friend of the program, buddies since high school. It's very doable to install the mini split. I've actually installed them in car haulers as well. Interesting. So the technology and the efficiency is moving forward and getting better all the time. And so that's something that we need to get Tony in here to talk about that. Mr. Cool is a popular brand. He says, yes, you can find them on Amazon. I saw the Mr. Cool brand. So we're going to have to look at that. Bob says he sent me an email, got an appointment at 10, so I have to leave soon, but I'll listen to the recorded version. Thank you, my brother. Thank you for the email. And we'll catch up. Bob in New Jersey, Wallpaper and Painting Man Deluxe. He's going to a house somewhere to talk about that. Wallpaper's a thing again, y'all. It's a thing. It's an absolute thing. So, yeah, $450 is what you can buy a mini split for. Evidently, that's something I'm talking about. Now, we were at this commercial building and they were working on the roof, and in the space that we were in, there was a big line of windows, and there was a tinted glass, and it was kind of glass for office building where you can see out, but you can't see in. So these young men were out there working, and they were putting up roof, and they were using isopoly, which is basically a styrofoam that's on steroids that they utilize. It's lightweight, but it works well for applications, all kinds of applications. And so they're out. I mean, I'm sitting in an office chair working on a computer right behind this glass, and these boys are working. And Amy don't know this. I haven't told her this yet because I hadn't had a chance to. So they're working, and I mean, we're like a foot apart, but they can't hear me. They can't see me because this is commercial grade, glass, and I can watch them. So, I'm watching what they're doing and kind of seeing what's going on and so forth. And they're coming back and forth. And so they set a big bunch of stuff right in the way where I can't see the city. And I was enjoying that view. I told Amy, excuse me, I said, I just want to smack the tar out of that glass. Let him get over close, because they were pushing stuff up to the next level of the roof. And they were hooking it, they were taking tools up, shovels and stuff. They'd taken a 250 or 500 gallon water trough. You see them everywhere, and they've got that metal frame around them, and they're white plastic, and cut the top of it off. And then they had a a pole up there with a winch on it, like you would bring shingles up on the roof. And they were putting their tools and stuff in there. And they were raising it up onto the next level, up on the roof of the roof that they were working on. They had no idea they was blocking my view. So I did. I wanted to just smack the tar out of that glass. Cause I mean, like I said, we were a foot apart, and just say, "Hey," which they wouldn't have been able to hear me, but they would have heard me bang that glass, and they'd thought, "What in the world?" Because they were being so careful, because every time the hook came back down to hook on to bring something else up, they were afraid they're going to hit that glass. Man, they were jumping around doing that. Well, what I didn't have a chance to tell Amy is when we were done at the office and we were leaving, I went down first and to get the truck and bring it around so I could get her. And so that's one of those boys, when I opened the elevator up, he was in the elevator. And had all his construction stuff on, and his hat and everything, and nice young man. I bet he was 20, and he had his hard hat on and had his safety glasses on and had his, his wind rag, that over their face and all that kind of stuff, and had all that off. And he is covered in tar because they were putting tar on this roof, and he'd been working all day. And this was kind of toward the end of the day. And here I am hobbling along with my rollator with my office stuff loaded on it. And I looked at him. He said, "Hey." I said, "Hey, I've been watching you." And he just looked at me, and I couldn't help it. I said, "Yep, been watching you." He said, "Watching me?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "You know where y'all putting all that stuff on that window, and you was trying to keep that big hook from hitting that glass?" He said, "Yeah." I said, I was on the other side of that glass." He goes, "Oh Lord." He said, "I thought you." I said, "Well, you boys are doing a good job. I'm watching you. You're doing a great job." It is, he said, I said, "But I said, I'm just kidding you." I said, "You boys do a good job." I said, "Y'all working hard." I said, I appreciate you." He said, "Okay." He said, "Thank you, sir." Cause I'm kind of big feller, kind of in pose. "Oh yeah, you can sit wherever you want to."
I know, but I don't want to be on.
Okay. Well, now you won't be. "Mama don't want to be on the camera," she said this morning. "So we'll turn it like that." We might turn it like that. Oh, there she is. No, better not do that. That'd get me in trouble. So it was pretty interesting stuff. So I enjoyed that. We're going to take a short time out to hear from some of those folks, because I've got a cough and need some more coffee. And I apologize. And I got to warm that up. And then we'll hear a couple of commercials and from folks that bring us from. We'll be right back. I got stuff for y'all today. Stuff. I got pages and pages and pages of notes that I'm Lord, they ain't no telling how long we're going to go today. It's Rick's house. It's Saturday morning, and we're tickled to death to have you with us. Thank you so much for being here. Hang on, youngins. We'll be right back.
To build a strong house, you gotta start with a solid foundation. This is Rick's House, the home improvement show.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, and let me tell you about one of my favorite companies, Top Septic. If you need a new drain field, or maybe you're having a problem with your existing drain field, or maybe the septic tank just needs to be pumped, they are the folks that can handle it for you. They know what they're doing. They're an American-owned company run by a veteran who wants to give you the type of service that you're expecting. Top Septic. Call them today, 865-599-1690. 865-599-1690.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. And let me tell you about my friends at Knoxville Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Popper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, "Rick, is it seconds?" No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxvilleSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite.
Permachink Systems, protecting wood for a long, long time. Not only protecting it, but beautifying it, helping it when it's decayed, working with log home people, and also working with homeowners. They have a store on Prosser Road in Knoxville at 1605 Prosser Road at 800-548-3554, or a store in Sevierville, 1357 Dolly Parton Parkway, 865-774-3307. 865-774-3307. Let me tell you what you're going to learn when you get there. Things I didn't know about. How about the Woodsman line of smooth log caulk? The other day I was looking for something that matched wood trim. I only had two choices. Not with Permachink: pine, honey, tan, cedar tone, brown, and gray. E-wood, epoxy wood putty that really works. Putty that will harden and become just like the wood itself, maybe even better. If you're missing sections of your windowsills or frames or furniture or any wood structure, this is the product for you. But maybe it's something smaller. How about epoxy wood paste? Contact PCS today. Call Permachink Systems today. Toll free 800-548-3554, or at the Sevierville store, 865-774-3307, and find out how to make wood better.
Don't let do-it-yourself become do-it-to-yourself. This is Rick's House, the home improvement show.
Good Saturday morning to you. Hey, your mama and them. Don't burn them biscuits. In West Texas, don't burn them tortillas, but just a little bit. That works out good. It's going to be a chicken enchilada kind of day. I'm making them homemade today. Look out now. Ha! I cooked the chicken down last night, and I've been learning how to cook Hispanic Mexican food, and I'm telling you what, there's some great. Arnie Tex, Arnietex, Arnie Tex. Look him up on YouTube. Fantastic. Rachel's Step by Step. Just like that. You'll hear her. She'll say, just like that. Delicious. And her husband, she said, I make this for my Ron. Just like that. And what's the other one, Amy, the mama? I don't know. I'll have to look that one up. She's busy. She got kids. Man, she'll bring it out there all of a sudden. I'm talking about deliciousness. Good stuff on the program. Now, back to the program. Got lots of stuff to talk about today. Lord have mercy. We done an hour. I can't believe it. One of the things that, I've talked about a little bit this morning is being prepared. And, I don't know, I was always taught that. And then, of course, being a scout, I always taught that. And I don't know. It's just in my DNA that, you know, I'm going to, if I need to, I'm going to take 3. If I don't know. It's in my DNA. It's in my blood, I guess. I don't know. So I'm going to do that. One of the things that this other, young lady, Boho's trying to get in the house. He wanted out this morning. I let him out. Well, I've got a screen leaned up against the window here because I pulled it off to change the hinge and to rescreen it, because dogs and the cats have done what dogs and cats do to screens. So I've done that. And of course, he thinks that he can climb up that to get, well, he climbs up it to get to the window so we can see him. And, you know, he's like, you know how cats are. They think that, you know, hey, you need to be paying attention to me. I don't care what you're doing. Hey, I want in. So anyway, he's a young boy. He's learning. So we got that going on. But anyhow, so I was talking about being prepared. So one of the things she talks about, and really this is good, and I know, you know, you got preppers out there. I enjoy watching the preppers, you know, and that kind of faded a little bit, but not like it was big, but it's kind of faded a little bit in some genres, but, you know, it's still out there. Listen, there ain't a thing wrong with prepping. You know, my friend Fred, he said, look here. He said, every time you go to the store, he said, buy a couple extra cans of tuna. Buy a couple extra cans of chicken noodle soup or chicken and stars or whatever it is you like. You know, he said, keep stuff in your pantry. You know, he said, don't buy it out. You know, don't go buy every roll of toilet paper they got, but keep a little extra. You know, because you never know. You never know when something might happen. You never know when prices are going to go up. You never know when, you know what, hey, you get hit with a deductible, or nowadays with the insurance thing, Jerry was talking about that. You know, you get hit with something. You know, if you've got a month's supply, that takes the pressure off. So that's one of the things that we're doing. Although we're limited on space, we have to be smart about that, but still, you can still do that. So be prepared. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. How many times have we heard that? Make sure that you got a little extra, especially if it's something that's hard to get or takes time to get. You know, down here where we are, we're in a very small town, and it's great. We love it, but it also has some disadvantages, you know, because it takes a little longer for things to get here because it's in the middle of nowhere. But the advantage is it's in the middle of nowhere. The disadvantage is you don't have everything that you normally would have. Where's a big old fifth wheel coming in? So, you know, keep an extra thing of washing powders. You know, keep you an extra bottle of Dial or Dawn. You know, whatever you use, you know, make sure you've got those things that keep, you know, and then rotate them. You know, when you go to, you're going to make tuna salad, use the tuna salad you already had. You're going to take us, use, you know, put the oldest up front and then just rotate them. I mean, that's just that's, I don't want to say it's common sense. I think it's good sense. I think it makes good sense. And that's my point is to be prepared. Now, and you stock a little at a time. Next thing you know, a couple months, shoot, you got a month's worth of groceries. You know, you got to pay $250 on the medicine, or like I've got to do tomorrow or Monday. Well, that don't have to come out of your grocery money. You got groceries. So that's an important thing. Now, something new I wanted to talk about before we go back. I've got a couple new things I want to talk about today. And I saw this. And my first thought, Amy and I talked about this, and this is new. Keystone RV, which is, we have a Forest River, which has been a very good RV for us, even though it was built in COVID. We've had very little go wrong. Knock on wood. And so they have a good reputation in the industry. as I look at what's going on in the world of that. And for us, you know, we got a good value. We didn't buy the one that's all the ultra fancy. We didn't buy the one that was all the basic. We bought the one that meets our needs, and then we adjusted it because of me being able, and Amy both being able at the time that we purchased it to do a lot of work ourselves and to make things the way we wanted them. I needed good bones, which I got complaints about I've got complaints that everybody has and that everybody deals with, and about slides. You know, they just don't do them right. They slap them in there. They don't do them right. They don't weather strip them right. And I tell you right now, if you get you a brand new camper, make sure that slide is sealed 14 ways from Sunday, because I promise you that little strip that's about 6 or 8 inches off the bottom of it will not keep that water out. And I promise you, it's got a piece of OSB in there that will rot in a little over a year's time, 2 at the most. So, you know, those are those kinds of things. You know, find you a good RV tech that can point those things out to you and stop them before they happen. I didn't know they did that. I've had to learn as I go. You all do the same. I'm just trying to look out for you. Keystone RV has come out with what's called the Keystone Walkabout. Now, this is the all rugged outdoor, drag it off in the woods, got solar power on it. And solar power out west where I'm at, yeah, we're going to be doing that. We have a solar panel on top of our roof that runs into an inverter that keeps our batteries charged. We have 2 Marine deep cycle batteries, so that in the event that power goes off, we've got lights. You know, we can run a fan motor. You know, our refrigerator runs because it runs on 12-volt DC. We can charge phones. We can do all that for a while. Now, you talk about being prepared, and I've told this story. We've got a generator on the back of this travel trailer that will run everything in here. On the way back home from our last trip, that generator went down and I did not have a backup. That was not comfortable. We now have 2 generators, which get alternated and get started. They should be started every week, but they get started at least every 2 or 3 weeks, once a month or so, and run a little bit. And you make sure that the fuel in them has an additive in it so it doesn't go bad on you, because water in the fuel, condensation, will stop it from running. And I promise you, when you need that electricity to turn that air conditioner on, you're going to make sure that you want to do that. I sound like I'm fussing, but I'm not. I'm speaking from my experience where I didn't do what I should have done and it cost me. So that being said, make sure that you do that. Now, this camper comes with all that. One of the things that we're working on is I'm going to upgrade to about 400 watts of solar just to knock the electric bill down. I mean, solar works well out here. Why not use it? And the cost of it is coming down. If you go to Cheap RV Living and watch Bob Wells, the granddaddy of nomadic living, he'll put you on it and show you. The main thing is being able to store that electricity. Now, you don't have to store it unless you have a cloudy day. You're not going to get the performance out of it that you would if you didn't have a cloudy day, but you can still utilize it. But storing it, my deep cycle marine batteries have done a good job, but it's time we step up to lithium batteries. But they have been so expensive, $800-900. We couldn't do it. Now, with all the off brands that are out there that are doing well, one of those is Bouge, Bouge RV, and you can get a lithium battery, a 100 amp lithium battery for about $150. Well, that's what a regular battery costs. And depending on the type of panels, as I'm learning about this, and I need to reach out to Chris Keefe and Sons Electric in Panama City Beach. He is a solar guru. Sometimes you have to run them in parallel, and sometimes you have to run them in series, and that depends on your setup. Also, the type of inverter that you have is very important. You want an MPPT inverter. Those are more expensive, but they're more efficient. About 50% more efficient. So efficiency is the name of the game when we talk about solar and batteries and inverters. you know, when Amy and I travel, you know, and we pull into Walmart, I can fire that, you know, she's inside, I'm outside, she's running out slides and picking stuff up that's in, you know, out of the sink that's been stored for the travel. And I'm cranking up generators and hooking up power. And in about 15 or 20 minutes, we're sitting in the living room watching the news and thinking about what might be for supper. And that's the way that we decided to travel. I'm going to be in comfort. And especially now that I'm older, I have to be because of my both of our, you know, health issues, you know, that just nothing bad, just wearing out a little bit. So that's important. So this walkabout had something that I saw. It has a slide that has a full couch in it. It's like a big garden window. Jerry Cunningham Sr., you know exactly what we're talking about here, with a glass, windows in the roof, windows in the side, windows all the way across the back. And when Amy and I, she said, "Oh my Lord Jesus," she said, "Do you know how hot that would be?" Which is the first thing I think about, because when you think about, most RVs have aluminum windows, which are going to conduct heat and cold through the frame. They have single glass, which is one step above plastic. I mean, literally, it's one step above plastic. And they curve the glass on them, which looks cool, but makes it expensive if you want to change that out. So we end up doing all kinds of things with styrofoam and reflects and all those kinds of stuff. And as we've repaired our slides, we've re-insulated and took the fiberglass insulation out and went back with a good polyiso that's going to increase that and also stop draft, you know, all those kinds of things we've updated as we went along. But I was looking at this walkabout, and I'm just going to read this to you. And what they've done is they've put, and it's my understanding, it has an insulated glass in it with blackout curtains. Well, we have blackout shades. They have blackout shades. We have blackout shades and blackout curtains. Because when you get in direct sunlight, if you want to see the western part of the country, the sunlight is what takes a toll on your RV. The slide out lounge is the highlight of the entire trailer, thanks to a full array of windows, not only on the outer walls, but also on the ceiling above. Now, here's, if the manufacturer's telling you this, and we were talking day before yesterday when I was looking at that park, so I'd have something to talk about on the show. He said the same thing. And this is something that I didn't think much about, but you should think about it as you're selecting a site inside of the campground for where you're going to move your RV to. Angle the trailer the right way, and you'll have a superlatively scenic nook for enjoying sunrises, sunsets, and all those big open views in between. Now, that morning sun is hotter than that evening sun. So the way we're parked, we get morning sun in our living area. Did I say that right, Amy? Yeah. That being said, as that sun comes up, it gets hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. If our trailer was turned the other direction or in a slot across the street, then it would be easier to cool because we'd get evening sun on that area, and the morning sun would be where there's not any windows. But then we'd lose our view. So view was more important to us, because if you're going to live on the road and you're going to travel, you want view, right? But even the manufacturer tells you, be aware of whether you're pointing which end's east and which end's west. In other words, the windows and overhead skylights have integrated blackout shades so things don't become too bright or warm in the midday sun. And this is a 26-foot trailer. Ours is a 40-foot trailer, and it has a 15,000 BTU, which is not enough. This is a 26-foot trailer and has an 18,000 BTU AC system. Also helps in that regard. Keystone Walkabout. Keystone RV has not yet started production on the Walkabout 26-foot max. This is the 22-foot that has an 18,000 BTU. Now, this is what blew me away. The 22-foot model, the 22-foot max version with this solarium and slide out, and it's nice. Now, I'm going to tell you something. It is nice. It's top of the line, across the board, cabinets, you know, all that stuff. Solar, it's got 200 watts of solar on it, inverter, you know, all the bells and whistles, extra storage, you know, la, 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 la. Manufacturer's suggested retail price, $76,485. Now, listen, folks. I don't know about y'all, but if it's 22 foot and you're paying $80,000 for it, you got a lot of money. Because I don't got that kind of money. And at some point, you know, if you can, hey, that's awesome. Good for you. But no, I can't do that. We're going to take a time out when we come back. I'm going to tell you how to keep them from sticking together. That's important. You're listening to Rick's House. We'll be right back, y'all. Hang on, youngins.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show. Let me tell you about our newest sponsor, GFL. That's Green for Life. If you're looking for that dumpster or that roll-off or that piece of equipment that's going to get that debris away from your job site, or just keep things handy around and clean around that big business that you have, GFL wants to be your partner. They want to service you, and they want to take care of you. Locations in Knoxville and Morristown, and you can call them today at 865-475-7777. 865-475-7777. Dean Kings joins me today to tell us about a special offer for Rick's House listeners. Dean.
Yeah, Rick, if they mentioned that they've heard about us on your show or any kind of thing affiliated with your show, we're going to waive our delivery fee for any roll-off box.
And how much is that?
That's a $75 savings.
$75 savings right off the bat. So if you're looking for that dumpster or that open-top roll-off, GFL is the company that's got them for you. They want to take care of you, they want to service you, and they do a great job for us. GFL, call them today, 865-475-7777, and mention that you heard them on Rick's House. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, and let me tell you about one of my favorite companies, Top Septic. If you need a new drain field, or maybe you're having a problem with your existing drain field, or maybe the septic tank just needs to be pumped, they are the folks that can handle it for you. They know what they're doing. They're an American-owned company run by a veteran who wants to give you the type of service that you're expecting. Top Septic. Call them today, 865-599-1690. 865-599-1690.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. Let me tell you about my friends at Knox Trail Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Piper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxtrailSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite.
Whether you're living in a brand new home or swimming in a money pit, we've got your home improvement answers. It's Rick's House, the home improvement show.
Oh, well, it's Rick's House. If you got a question, he'll help you figure it out. 'cause it's Rick's house.
Music by Epidemic Sound. We pay for it to you. Bug face. How you keep them from sticking together? That's the topic coming up on the program today. And then we're going to talk about the air camper. That's right. Look out now. Go Vols, roll tide, war eagle, as they say. Can you tell I've had about 16 cups of coffee this morning? 5-gallon buckets. I use them for everything. Put them across the back of the truck bed, run you a bungee from side to side, run it through the handles, good to go. Load them up. They might slide around a little bit, but not too much. If you got them loaded down heavy, they won't turn over. But you got to do what I got to do. You got to stack them suckers together. And if you stack them together without putting anything between them, good luck on getting them apart. I'll be looking for a pry bar. They literally, and I know y'all dealt with that. I've seen a bunch of different things along the way. It's nice to keep some empty 5-gallon buckets around, but the only way to efficiently store them is to stack them. The problem is that they get stuck so tight, it feels like they're glued together. Put a short chunk of 2x4 between the buckets when you stack them. It'll be a cinch to pull them apart. That was brought to us by Dennis Rowe. I've even heard people take an empty, 20-ounce Coke bottle or a 2-liter. That takes up too much space for me. But, just a short piece of 2x4, 3 or 4 inches, bam, in the bottom, stack it, bam, another one in the bottom, stack it, pull them right apart. Makes a huge difference if you're going to utilize that. I mean, I use them for everything, especially now. One of the things that I told you, a tip that I use is I buy 1 gallon or half-gallon Ziplocs at the Dollar General store when I can find them. And so if I'm going outside because of limited mobility, if I'm going outside to do a project, I put everything I need, screws, tools in those, and then I can put that in a 5-gallon bucket, set that on my rollator, which becomes my bench in my seat, roll out to where I'm going to work, set it down on the ground, and I've got everything I need right there. Because the multiple trips I used to be able to make is difficult for me now. So my grandpa said, work smarter, son, not harder. And the older I get and the least amount of mobility I have, the more I do that. Now, Jerry asked me a question. He said, how many square feet in your RV? Our RV is 8 by 40, so that's 320 square feet plus the slides. We have about 400 square feet in our travel trailer. Huh? Right at 500 square feet, which is really considered a tiny house, especially since we've modified and took some things out and adjusted and made it more open floor plan where we've got that going on. So we've got quite a bit of space in here. That's why I think the mini split we'll do. We're going to leave. You say, Rick, you going to take? No, I'm going to leave that air conditioner at the top. That's a backup. That's a backup from a backup from a backup. Remember, you got to have a backup for your backup for your backup. That's something you got to do. There's a new camper out there. I looked at pickup truck campers for a while because there's times when, we're like where we are now, where we've got the travel trailer set up and, if we want to make a small road trip and want to stay overnight, hotels don't work for me anymore because I have to sleep a certain way and I have to have certain things and I have to have that stuff with us. So that's one of the things we've looked at is having a camper in the back of my pickup, which doesn't impede me from pulling the trailer, but allows us to make short runs, 2 hours away, 3 hours away, do what we got to do, spend the night,
day or two, come back to the home base, wherever that may be in the country. So I was looking at that. Man, truck campers are expensive. I mean, a used one's 10, 15,000. New ones are 25 to 50, and they're heavy. So if I put one in the back of the truck, I would have to think about what does that do to my tongue weight, which on our trailer is heavy, and we've shifted some of that around and tried to get more of that over the storage that's over the center, the dual axles. But all those things are important because you have to calculate all that, and you got to remember, don't haul water with you just enough so you can use it. Don't fill your water tanks up because you're putting a lot of weight in your vehicle. That's going to hurt your gas mileage and everything else. Well, if I put a big heavy camper in the back of my travel trailer, of my pickup truck, then all of a sudden I have limited my tow weight. I've limited my tongue weight, and that would create a real problem for us unless it was just really light. So one of the things that I came across, and I kind of dismissed it because I don't know. I just dismissed it because I just thought, that don't sound right to me, but it's catching on. So I got an email to Rick's House Radio gmail.com, and that's how you get me. If you want to get me, shoot me an email, rickshouseradio@gmail.com. Rick, just like it sounds, no apostrophes, all lowercase. rickshouseradio@gmail.com. rickshouseradio@gmail.com. That's how you send it. And this engineer, I saw this thing. I thought that's a good idea, but I just don't know about that. This engineer came up with what's called the Air Camper. Now, here's the website. It's THAIRCAMPER.com. THAIRCAMPER.com. Now, I'm gonna reach out to him. Let me put that in the feed here. And I'm sorry, I can't multitask like I used to. THAIRCAMPER.com. I've never talked to these people, don't know them, don't know nothing about them other than what I see online. So let me put that on the stream so you guys can see it. There you go. TheAirCamper.com. The Air Camper is a pickup truck bed camper that will fit several different size, mid-size, small size, normal size. They come in different models. It weighs 180 pounds. Rick, have you lost your mind? It weighs 180 pounds. You say, how? Well, you've seen these air tents, right? That you inflate. Well, this engineer came up with this thing, and it is a camper. Let me just read this for you. My first thought was, yeah, that's going to be like an air mattress. You buy that thing, and then the next thing you know, you're out there trying to sleep in a Walmart parking lot, and it's going down on you. The Air Camper is made from a durable PVC drop stitch material that is puncture resistant and safe for use on the trail. Sticks, branches, and rough outdoor conditions will not damage the camper. A patch kit is also included with every purchase for peace of mind. Now, the next question is the Air Camper good for cold weather and winter camping? Yes. The Air Camper is built for 4-season adventures. It features a fully enclosed design with 2-inch thick insulated walls that provide warmth and weather resistance in cold temperatures, wind, rain. There's also a port for connecting a fan in the summer or heater in the winter. This thing comes down. You inflate it. He literally rolled it over on its back, backed his truck up, pushed it up in there, tied it down, and you're on the road. Now, the next question is it safe to leave it inflated while you're traveling? Yes. I got to learn more about this. They have been $3,750, $3,750 until April the 30th. I'm going to reach out to him today. Mama, remind me. Until April the 30th, he's running the tax sale where they're $2,850. Now, inside this thing, it has 2 sleeping surfaces. It has a hard floor in it. It's got windows. I mean, it is a truck bed camper. I'm not talking about a camper top. I'm talking about high, room. Get around. Make it happen. Hello, potential spam. Sorry. Our extended warranty's out, and we know it. And yes, I do have all that's required of me for Medicare. And no, I didn't get the form you sent me. Does that drive you all crazy? Does spam drive you? 2 things drive me crazy. Getting hacked, which just drove me nuts. And these generated calls. Can you hear me okay? Never say yes. Never, ever, ever. With AI, folks, they can make you say anything. They can show you a picture of you saying anything, a video you saying. Don't do it. My first response is, how can I assist you? Well, we did it. No. Then my next response is, you want to make order? You like a spicy. $5. Sorry. So the Air Camper, THAIRCAMPER.com. We're going to find out more about that. And who knows, we might try one. We'll see how that works out. All right, back to the notes. Cleaning filters. Now, we all talk about, this past week, my AC started sweating. I didn't realize it, but it's time. We're going to have it serviced probably at the end of the month, where we're going to have the coils cleaned, and you have to take the cowl off. You have to get up on the roof, take the cowl off. I can't do that anymore. It's a simple thing, but I just can't do it. I can't get up there, and I'm not going to risk it. So we get that done. It's like $150 for them to do it, which is well worth it. And so they take the cowl off, they clean it, they seal everything, they clean the coils, they put everything back in order so it can breathe. It's just like a radiator on your car. It's like anything else. If it's not getting the appropriate amount of air, then it's putting a strain on it, which is going to wear your compressor out. Wear all those parts out, just like with anything. And so we're going to have that done. Well, I looked, and I have a chair in the kitchen that's a rolling chair, so that when I'm cooking, I can sit down if I need to chop stuff and do that kind of stuff, because it's hard for me to stand for long periods of time. Can't do that anymore like I used to. So I looked up, pulled the vents, pulled the filters out, and they were a little dirty, but not too bad. So cleaned them, put all that up. The chair was wet. That's how I looked up, and it was dripping. So I pulled those out, swapped it over to fan, let the compressor cool down, cleaned the inside, cleaned the filters, and then put it all back together, and it works fine. But we need to clean those coils. So that made me think about cleaning filters, changing out those air filters in your HVAC at your house. It made me think about, Amy's really good about, she showed me where there were filters in the washing machine. I had no idea it existed. There's one inside the tub. There's one down at the bottom at the drain. your dryer. You got to clean that lint filter after every load. They say, oh, clean it once a week. Don't do that. They want you to clean it once a week or never. Clean it after every load. There'll be additional filters on there that you need to do that. Then I got to thinking about, well, what about your dishwasher? You know, your dishwasher has a food trap in it in the bottom that needs to be cleaned. So it performs properly. Then we just got a new ice maker. Our ice maker, we have not one in the refrigerator, which I don't know about filters on that. I know some filters, some refrigerators have filters on it. We have a filter on the hose that before it goes into our camper, so it filters the water. Makes it taste much better. And so I got to thinking about, we got a brand new ice maker. It sits on the counter and makes ice in 6 minutes. It's got a filter. That filter's got to be cleaned. So check those filters. When you check those filters, check your CO2, carbon monoxide filter, check your smoke detectors. I promise you, those things are the life of the appliances that you have. It's something that you need to do, and it's important to do. I saw this on Family Handyman. Tim Groff sent this in. And, you know, they come up with like, well, you know, they come up with a whole lot. Like they had a piece of wire shelving on the wall in the garage to store your bungee cords. And I don't know about y'all, but we have a lot of bungee cords that we utilize when we're traveling to, you know, make sure stuff is closed and all those kinds of things. And, you know, they're all different lengths and all different things. So they had mounted this piece of wire shelving on the side of the cabinet of the side of the garage wall. And they would, you know, that way you can put the different lengths, and it, you know, it works good. But I thought, what a waste of a piece of shelving, because if you bought any wire shelving, it's expensive. So I said, that's not something I would do. It's just something I wouldn't do. I wouldn't spend, you know, $50, you know, on a piece of wire shelving to utilize it. Plus it takes up, you know, most of those are 12, 16 or 24 inches long, deep. And then however long you need them, it just takes up too much wall space. So I saw this for bungee cord storage, and it just makes total and absolute sense to me. And it's something you can do in your RV. It's something you can do in your garage. It's something that you can put wherever you are. This guy said to store elastic cords safely, it's Tim Groff, to store elastic cords safely and neatly, pull out the spine of an old 3-ring binder. How many 3-ring binders have you thrown away when the vinyl on them tears and you get you a new one? Well, you got that metal piece in there with the D-rings on it. Take that out, punch out the rivets, and then screw the spine to the garage wall or to whatever wall you want it to. Now you've got 3 rings there where you can just hook. Put your long ones on the first one, your middle-sized ones on the second one, and your small ones on the end. You can put a lot of bungee cords on that 3-ring binder, and it didn't cost you jack. That is a great tip. Absolutely great tip. One that I think is really, really cool. Now, we're going to do a couple more things on the program today. The first thing is the Admiral, who I love dearly, who's no longer with us, who was my boss in Knoxville at one of the radio stations that I was on, and who was an absolute gentleman and a scholar, and I loved him, and he was great to me and great to my family, and I miss him, and he's good people. He loved it when I would do he said, the favorite thing that you do on your show is when you show me where to hide stuff. I said, well, I'm the master of hiding stuff because I can't remember where I put it, so I have to get Amy to hunt it down. And she knows her husband so well that she'll find it in just a little bit. So I was searching back, and then I saw some new things today, and there's some great stuff. You know, there's all the stuff that you put out in the yard. One of my favorites is the fake sprinkler head. If you have sprinklers in your mulch bed, you know that you just open the top up and drop stuff in there. That's a good one. That always works well. I mean, who's going to start pulling stuff up? But here's some new ones that I think are really good. A roll in a roll. Number one. First up on the list of secret hiding places is your bathroom. Or more specifically, your toilet paper roll. Take apart the spring bar that holds your toilet paper. Roll up a stack of bills. In my case, it'd be ones. In case I run out of snuff, well, ones won't get it down here. You better have 20s in there. Roll up a stack of bills. Stash them inside of the toilet paper spring bar. Put it back together. Put your toilet paper on it. Slap it back in the toilet paper holder. That is a great idea. Whoever thought that one up, genius. Here's another one. Number two. This is new to me. We lost little Chevy about 6 weeks ago, and he was a good boy, and he died peacefully in his sleep after he had just eaten a big meal. That's the way I want to go. So now we are cat people. We have Gypsy, otherwise known as the Hussifer, somewhere between the Hussy and Lucifer, who's made a good girl, and Boho Bohemian, Boho, short for Bohemian, who's the Hussifer is teaching how to act properly, who's a good boy. Put small containers of valuables in a tub. Take that box of unused, it's important to be unused, kitty litter. Scoop you a big wad of it out. Put your valuables in a, whatever containers you save, whether it's, buttered container or whatever. Sealed container. Put your valuables in there. Scoop out, half or so of your kitty litter. Put it down in there. Pour the kitty litter back on. Put it back on top. Now, we don't buy it. Most of us don't buy it in bags anymore. We buy it in a container, which those containers are useful too, by the way, for many things, much like 5-gallon buckets. Bury it and move the container to where you normally keep it. And I don't know about you, but I don't know many burglars is going to dig in that. Except now that we've told it on, but it's everywhere. So that's another thing. Number 3 on the list. Roll up some cash, stick it in a medicine bottle or any other watertight container, and bury it in a potted plant. So if you're a plant person, you got a raised bed garden, for quicker access and to keep the dirt from getting under your fingernails, place a stone or a pine cone over it. Not many burglars are going to be excavating around your house plants. So I don't know that I necessarily do that. I just put it down in there. One of the things that I keep, and I'm out of them right now, and I've got to order some, is, I wait till Harbor Freight has a great deal on those nitrile gloves. And, you can buy 100 for, like $15 or $11 or $10, depending on where you want 4 mil, 6 mil, 7 mil, 9 mil, whatever, just depending on what you're doing. I buy the thinner ones, not the thinnest ones because they break, but I buy those and I keep those. We keep them underneath the kitchen sink. So when I'm working with, if I'm making like I'm going to be today, making meatloaf, or I'm not doing that today. I'm making chicken enchiladas, which I made the chicken last night and it's been sitting all night. Oh, it's going to be so good. Arnie Tex, ARNIETEX, YouTube. Check him out. But I use them for that. I keep some in the truck so that when I stop to fuel up, you always get gas on your hands, gas off of the gas knob on the truck, all those different kinds of things. You want to go ahead and do that. I keep them in there for that. Or if you got to check the oil, any of those kinds of things, because there's nothing worse than to get that smell on you and then step back into the truck and be having to drive another 2 hours and smell like gas or oil or whatever the whole time. Really, 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 really good thing to do. And just watch Harbor Freight. And if you join, you get them extra discount for the coupons. Works out really well. And here's one of my favorites, fake plumbing pipes. Now, this is easy to do. Now, they showed putting in a fake PVC pipe complete with a clean out plug somewhere in your basement, and then you can just unscrew the plug, and there's a secret compartment for all your items. Now, one of the things that I have done over the years that I found to be, really, really useful for hiding stuff is you don't have to completely replace a pipe. I mean, it can be something as far as just a short piece of pipe coming down. A lot of times you can take a T and just cut one side of it and slip it over. They make one that slips over, and then it don't even attach to the pipe. It's just glued to the pipe, or you could even use a Fernco and just wrap that around the pipe, a Fernco T, and then put a clean out in it, so you don't have to dig into your existing plumbing fixture. I mean, it could be coming up out of the concrete floor. It could be coming out of a wall. You just cut a hole in the wall and stick it back in there, and fasten it that way. I mean, but it needs to be where your others are so that it looks right. Don't put it off to itself. But that clean out, you can get them big. I mean, you can get 4-inch or whatever you need and put a lot of stuff in there. It works out really, really, really good. Good stuff on the program. Now, we're going to take that last time out here before the top of the show. And then we come back. I'm going to give you some key tips, and we're going to dig into this more next week. But I want to give you some key things something that I learned myself this past week, that as I'm updating myself, excuse me, on the newest products and the latest and greatest stuff that we're going to do. Jerry says, Snoopy says that the towels by the gas pumps are to erase tears from the high gas prices. It was $4.28 down here, youngins, and it's down to $4.17. Yeah. Holy moly. Let's go to that timeout. You're listening to Rick's House. We'll come back, finish it up. Hang on, y'all. Appreciate you. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show. Let me tell you about our newest sponsor, GFL. That's Green for Life. If you're looking for that dumpster or that roll-off or that piece of equipment that's going to get that debris away from your job site, or just keep things handy around and clean around that big business that you have, GFL wants to be your partner. They want to service you, and they want to take care of you. Locations in Knoxville and Morristown, and you can call them today at 865-475-7777, 865-475-7777. Dean Kings joins me today to tell us about a special offer for Rick's House listeners. Dean.
Yeah, Rick, if they mention that they've heard about us on your show or any kind of thing affiliated with your show, we're going to waive our delivery fee for any roll-off box.
And how much is that,
That's
brother?
a $75 savings.
$75 savings right off the bat. So if you're looking for that dumpster or that open top roll-off, GFL is the company that's got them for you. They want to take care of you. They want to service you, and they do a great job for us. GFL, call them today, 865-475-7777, and mention that you heard them on Rick's House.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. And let me tell you about my friends at Knox Trail Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Piper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products, You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxvilleSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, and let me tell you about one of my favorite companies, Top Septic. If you need a new drain field, or maybe you're having a problem with your existing drain field, or maybe the septic tank just needs to be pumped, they are the folks that can handle it for you. They know what they're doing. They're an American-owned company run by a veteran who wants to give you the type of service that you're expecting. Top Septic. Call them today, 865-599-1690. 865-599-1690. Permachink Systems, protecting wood for a long, long time. Not only protecting it, but beautifying it, helping it when it's decayed, working with log home people, and also working with homeowners. They have a store on Prosser Road in Knoxville at 1605 Prosser Road. That's 800-548-3554, or a store in Sevierville, 1357 Dolly Parton Parkway, 865-774-3307. 865-774-3307. Let me tell you what you're going to learn when you get there. Things I didn't know about. How about the Woodsman line of smooth log caulk? The other day I was looking for something that matched wood trim. I only had two choices. Not with Permachink: pine, honey, tan, cedar tone, brown, and gray. E-wood, epoxy wood putty that really works. Putty that will harden and become just like the wood itself, maybe even better. If you're missing sections of your windowsills or frames or furniture or any wood structure, this is the product for you. But maybe it's something smaller. How about epoxy wood paste? Contact PCS today. Call Permachink Systems today. Toll free 800-548-3554, or at the Sevierville store, 865-774-3307, and find out how to make wood better.
Whether you're living in a brand new home or swimming in a money pit, we've got your home improvement answers. It's Rick's House, the home improvement show.
Oh, well, it's Rick's House. If you got a question, he'll help you figure it out. 'Cause it's Rick's House.
Oh, yeah. Good Saturday morning to you. Thank y'all. Glad to have you with us this morning as we finish it up here. Appreciate you being part of Rick's House. Support our sponsors and know that many of those sponsors have locations in your state, especially GFL, Green for Life. That's a complete trash service and roll-offs and all kinds of things for industrial as well as residential. Check out GFL. Tell them that we sent you. Also, our friends at Permachink getting ready to be on Fox News in a highlighted special. We're going to have Evan on here maybe next week. We'll see. Depends on his schedule. Talking about those products that they know everything there is to know about wood and how to revitalize it from your deck to your log cabin to your siding to whatever it may be, or to your historic house that you're trying to renovate. Columns. They got it going on. They're making it happen. And Knoxville Salvage, been with us 20 plus years. They'll ship. If you're close to them in Tennessee, go by and see them. If not, call them. They'll work it out with you. They'll make it happen. So all those folks we appreciate. And of course, locally, our friends at Top Septic, All Clear Plumbing, and more to come. So we'll do that. Here's what I'll tell you. I want to give you as we finishing up here this today. Thank you so much for Miss Ruby. Good morning. Thank you so much for being a part of what we do each and every Saturday. I'm so tickled that we have
was able to get our YouTube fixed and get our Facebook fixed. And we revitalized that. If you hear music on this program, we either have permission to play it or it's from Epidemic Sound, which we pay for. We want to be sure and say that next week. And I don't have time to get into it today, but one of the things that we're going to talk about on next week's show, you don't want to miss this one, is we're going to talk about the difference between an uncapped composite decking, is we're talking about exterior, capped composites decking, and capped polymer composites. We're going to give you the key takeaways. We're going to give you a comparison. We're going to tell you how much they cost and why you should pick each one depending on your application, so that you can have that deck that's going to stay with you, that's going to have that UV resistance, that's going to have that resistance to mold and mildew and stain. And I've got it all right here and prepared. We're going to make that happen next week on next week's program. So don't miss that. Reach us during the week at Rick's House Radio at gmail.com, Rick's House Radio at gmail.com, or find us on Facebook. At Rick's RHRS on the road, Rick's House Radio Show on the road, or Rick Allen Merrill. You'll find me there with Rick's House. And we'd love to hear from you at any and all places. Thank you so much. God bless you. Put your arms around them. Love those that'll let you. And we'll see you back here next week live on the road right now in West Texas. God bless you. Thank you. We love you.
See the tune in the end?